It's the Moving Picture Show. I'm David.
Luke.
Guest star appearance, Logan.
Yep, that's right. And today we're going to talk about two excellent films, Jaws and The Meg.
Well, an excellent film and another film.
Oh, you didn't have a good time?
Actually, you said that in the wrong order. It's a film and then an excellent film. The Meg is the good one.
I mean, I had fun. I loved it. But we have some synopsis that we've written. So, Luke, you only have the one, right?
It's actually the premise, so someone else should do a synopsis.
Well, whatever, same thing.
I mean, for the premise, all I did was I said...
Wait, for which movie?
This is The Meg.
So you're going to start with the great one.
Yeah, well, naturally. Okay. I wanted to start off on a high note and then slowly, lower the bar as
work our way down to Jaws.
I want to pander to Jaws.
Yeah.
So the premise of The Meg is that at the bottom of the Mariana Trench is a layer of hydrogen sulfide in which a submarine punches a hole through, and then it reveals this ecosystem that can supposedly survive due to the warm water discovered. They also ignore the fact that it takes a sub like a second to punch through it, and then like 5 seconds later, a really tiny sub that's not supposed to go down to that depth somehow just glides right in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the warm...
Hang on a second. Are you making that up? Is that really in the movie?
Yeah, it's in the movie.
I skipped the beginning, so I honestly don't know.
Logan.
You skipped the best writing then.
This Hard Mountain Dew is...
very expired.
Yeah. But I'm no quitter.
Sponsored by Hard Mountain Dew. Use promo code MISK for nothing. Anyway, so this warm stream of water somehow shoots a passageway up to the surface, and somehow a megalodon swims up through that stream, and that's how it gets to the top.
It creates a magic birth canal through the ocean.
So that's
through which the miracle of the life of the Meg begins.
Yeah.
How deep, like with all the pressure, how deep could a megalodon actually survive down there?
Well, okay, are we talking about this because we can end this really quickly? Anybody that thinks that there's a megalodon in the Mariana Trench is an idiot and a communist.
I would agree with that.
So, anyways,
I do think they're still there.
That is the
not in that order.
That's my point. Yeah.
So that is the actual premise. I know it sounds like a joke, but that is not. They can now do their joke synopsises and see if they can make it as good as that one. So,
all right. Well, shall I go then? Okay, we'll start with my synopsis for the Meg, because apparently that's what we're talking about first. Prepare yourself. Finally, the greatest shark movie ever made, to be featured on the latest season of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Was it actually?
No.
That would have been cool.
Claude Van Bald Guy number 3 stars as insert name here in what is definitely one of the adventure movies of all time, as he faces off against one of the CGI sharks of all time. I can say that this is definitively a movie that I absolutely watched.
Alright, Logan, you got one?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of gave like a general overall, but just to give any listeners like the feel, The Meg is one of those movies that you kind of turn on in the background while you're waiting for your wife to get ready for something. And you're going to be late anyways. So, anyway, you're sitting there and you're thinking, wow, the writers actually thought this was big screen worthy. But then the shark shows up, and suddenly you're able to forget about all the dull, dreary character building, and you can just enjoy the action. But no matter how stupid it gets, or unrealistic, or whatever, you can just appreciate the fact that Dwight Schrute's in it.
Oh, that's true. That's fair. Here. A hard Mountain Dew an expired hard Mountain Dew raised for Dwight Schrute.
I don't know if bottled water can expire or not, but I'm probably drinking that.
Depends on if it was left out in the sun.
Yeah.
So, thoughts on the Meg, first of all, because this is a versus show. We're taking a movie that is generally considered good and facing it off against a movie that is generally considered bad by smart people.
All right. So I was going to start with the pros. The pros, solid entertainment value. I went and saw it in the theater one time when it came out. And when you're sitting in a theater and you got nothing else going on, then, it was a somewhat fun summertime movie. Cons, the second time that I watched it, which was to prepare for this video, it was a chore to get through. It felt like I was at work. And I'm just going to go through some plot holes for the cons. So on this supposed bottom of the ocean, there's still visible sunlight. And it's even deeper than the bottom of the Mariana Trench because they punch a hole through the bottom of the Mariana Trench to get even further down, and there's still sunlight. They even deploy like these lights. They're like send out the lights. They deploy these lights to like see more. They didn't need to. There was sunlight down there for them.
Without the sunlight, how did you expect to see the Looney Tunes CGI squid that grabs the submarine?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
you guys are starting to make me wish that I hadn't skipped to the end. That sounds like the beginning is just as good.
Also, not to mention this living ecosystem that's at even further down than the Mariana Trench, as if there's no pressure once you push through the bottom.
There's a living ecosystem down there, Luke. I mean, you can't fault the movie for
with a full coral reef. A full. It was Christmas time. A full coral reef with tons of like surface dwelling fish in it.
Were there surface dwelling fish? I honestly wasn't paying.
There is an anglerfish that goes by, but there were like a bunch of fish that I'm pretty sure are on the surface.
So when they said Mariana Trench, are you sure you heard Mariana Trench, not like the Gulf of Mexico? There it is.
Somewhere in the deepest parts of the beach at Gulf Shores.
We have video of the actual bottom of the Mariana Trench, and there's not much of nothing down there. There is anglerfish, eels,
a lot of blackness
and sand.
A lot of blackness.
Actually, that's not true. They found a rock at the bottom.
So, are you done with your cons?
Let's see. Oh, horrendous dialogue. I'm gonna have to. It was written by a 12-year-old. I'm pretty sure. But anyways,
Jason Statham. That was his name. I forgot his name. That's why I put Claude Van Bald Guy number 3.
Yeah. So
it just popped into my head.
Perfect.
So I have to go through my how I watch movies for reviews right now, which is when I start watching a movie, when I'm doing reviews, is I start it at 50%, and then I give percentage increases and deductions based off of what's going on. Usually it's about 5% is the basic swing,
It's like
but
a whole equation here. I'm not even following.
yeah. Well, I got to get through it to get to my point. But anyways, the usually the ending can be like a big 15%, 20% swing based off of how it wraps up and stuff.
I agree with that.
But anyways, the dialogue in this movie is so
every
bad.
Monster movie ends with an extra 15% because it's always at the end when it gets good. That's why I skip, thus skipping the beginning.
Yeah, but the dialogue was so bad in this movie, I had to give so many 5% deductions that by the time I was like 45 minutes into the movie, it was down to like 15%.
Okay.
It crawls its way back up a little bit.
The ending couldn't do much for you. Logan, what about you on like the Meg as far as negatives go? What do you think? I mean, I know that you skipped part of the movie.
So, the expectations were extremely low. So, going into it, I would say, I definitely skipped the end because I have experience with like movies like Godzilla and stuff where they spend way too much time on character development in a movie when the only real thing that people go pay money to see that movie is the monsters.
I will fight you over Godzilla.
I'm not saying Godzilla's a bad movie. I'm just saying that people focus on character development through monster movies for no reason. Nobody cares about the people. People go to see the people get eaten, and that's all there is to it.
You know we're about to talk about Jaws after this.
Hey, you can't lump Jaws into the cesspool that is modern monster movies, that's for sure.
Well, we'll see if we can.
But no, I think, all in all, it was like, it was entertaining at least, but it is one of those movies where, like, if you're sitting there watching it by yourself at home and somebody were to come in, you'd hurry up and click off it like you're getting off porn because you feel too embarrassed to have it up there.
I went and saw it in theaters.
I did too. But I wore a bag over my head.
Luke just wore sweatpants.
So is it my go?
Well, hang on, Logan. Did you watch the Shyamalan twist part? Did you get to that part?
Yeah. The shark was
I
dead
did.
the whole time.
So that a bigger shark could eat it.
I was gonna say, I assume you're referring to the part where they have the dead shark and then another one shows up.
Yep, that's
yes,
exactly right.
I did see that twist.
That happens halfway through the movie.
Yeah, I don't know that I would classify it as a Shyamalan twist, but
It's not really a twist when they kill the shark halfway through the movie. You're just like, okay, there's obviously
You're
another
like-
shark. We still have an hour to go in this
You're like, wow,
monstrosity.
30 minute
I don't know
movie.
what you guys are talking about. I gave it a standing ovation in the theaters when that happened. I was like, bro, but they really had me there.
Keep going.
I thought I was going to be home by 7.
Like a monster shark movie and the boat is still afloat? Come on.
Well, I, for one, loved this movie so much. But not for any of the reasons they wanted me to love it. Every time the Megalodon changed sizes depending on what scene it was in, I clapped, I cried, I laughed, and then I died.
What about the part where the shark performs a miracle that is being still? You remember that?
Oh,
scene?
yeah. Because sharks have to keep moving. right?
Sharks can hover.
Yeah, the shark just like stares at the little girl through the glass.
Oh,
and is like,
yeah.
I'm gonna sit here for a moment.
Yeah, I saw that in the trailer.
I'm going to collect my breath.
Catch my breath. Collect my thoughts.
So,
How do I feel about this person through the glass? You know, have they hurt me in any way?
to be fair, the whole like shark changing size thing, I'm not gonna rip on that because there is a scene in Jaws where they do that as well. It's clearly they go from the animatronic to a like it's like
Yeah, no.
what is it, like a mako shark or something?
No, it's a great
That
white.
criticism,
It's just a small
it's a
great
great
It's,
one.
it's small,
But
you can
that
tell it's
criticism
small.
doesn't hold water because there's nothing to compare it to size-wise. And actually,
That
they
is-
used...
yeah. No, there is. It has like a rope hanging off of it, and
Well,
it's like
there's-
very clearly like you can tell by that rope.
No,
that it
ropes
is
come in
smaller.
different sizes.
I mean, we can get to that when we get to Jaws, but I think what David was about to say is that they used a miniature cage.
Yeah,
They used a small cage, and a shark actually
miniature
did get tangled
cage,
up in
and they
it.
actually hired a little person to like be in the cage. I think. I believe I heard.
I'm
that.
pretty sure it was a dummy.
No,
Well, the actor that played R2D2 was kind of hard up for work after that movie ended, so
Hey, he's,
that was
he's dead
too-
now. Rest in peace.
That was 2 years before Star Wars.
Are you sure they didn't hire? I could have swore they did.
I thought it was a dummy, but I might be wrong. But a shark actually did get tangled up in it,
Maybe I'm thinking of
and
Lord
that
of
was
the
kind of
Rings.
cool. But I understand Logan's gripe because the scene where it shows the full body of the shark, you can tell that it's a much shorter shark than.
it's a smaller shark, right?
And that was one of the few
I
deductions that
I
the
won't fault
70s.
it. I was gonna say I won't fault it because of the age.
When you have a CGI megalodon and
Yeah.
you can remain
There's no
consistent with
excuse.
the size,
There is no excuse. I
and
agree,
it was here's the
100%.
thing: it changed sizes because the dummy they made for the dead shark
not to
was way smaller than the one that it was CGI just a moment ago, and it was way bigger.
Did they actually make a dummy for that?
It had to be. It was real. It was clearly not
probably-
CGI.
it probably
you know
was
how I
full
could tell
size,
it was
though.
real, Logan?
Yeah.
Because if it was CGI, then it was the best CGI in the movie by far.
Well, that just means they spent more time on it.
Yeah, we really want the dead shark to look good.
Not to mention,
Hey,
if
you
we're
were-
gonna
yeah.
if we're gonna nitpick shark design, we should also mention the Megalodon has like 8 gill slits in that movie.
No.
Yeah,
Does he really?
Yeah, it has way too many gill
I didn't even
slits.
see that. That's remarkable.
I
didn't see that.
think when there's sunlight at the bottom of Mariana Trench and clownfish and crap, you're probably throwing.
Was
the
there
research
clownfish?
I don't know. I didn't see the beginning. I'm just going off what you said, but I'm just assuming you're throwing the research and development part of that movie out.
Yeah.
Bro,
Nobody's gonna care. They're here watching the Meg. They just want to get away from their kids for an hour and a half.
They're like, if we could cut the beginning of this movie, we would, which is what I did.
Can I talk really quick? So okay, me and Leah watched Jaws, and Leah fell asleep, but that's not a testament to the greatness of the movie because, as you know, Leah falls asleep in every movie.
Leah is David's cat.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a tabby. All tabby cats are female.
So anyway, we watched Jaws, then we watched The Meg, then I was still in a sharky mood, you know, so we watched Deep Blue Sea,
Never seen it.
and then we watched The Shallows. And I'll
Never
tell you
seen that
something,
either.
if you haven't seen The Shallows, I know we're not talking about The Shallows, but if you haven't seen The Shallows, when it comes to modern shark movies, that is the best one probably since Jaws.
That's the surfing one, right?
Yeah.
I did see that one actually.
Are you sure you saw the right one? Because there was another one that I didn't see where the girl actually loses. It's based on a true story where the girl loses an arm.
I definitely wasn't a true story.
Okay. This is the one where
This is the one with Blake.
She's stuck on the
yeah,
rock
Blake
for, like-
Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife, is stuck on the rock.
It's Ryan Reynolds' wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thought he was gay.
This next message comes from a Blake Lively. He says,
But what were you gonna say about that movie?
The Shallows?
Yeah,
No, I just saw
seen
it.
Okay, it was good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was actually, and the CGI shark in that is like prehistoric planet level. Like it's really freaking convincing. It looks legit.
Yeah, I expected way less going into that movie.
Yeah.
And I skipped the beginning of that one too, in all fairness. But it was
Do
still a
you
good
ever
movie.
watch the beginning of a movie?
Actually, I
Like-
did. No, you know what? I did watch. I would say I watched 90% of that movie.
Yeah.
I skipped like maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes or something. I don't know.
Logan's wife is walking around upstairs and she's carrying a 28-pound baby, so it's gonna sound like a elephant seal is rolling around up there for a little while.
okay, so we need to get to our closing thoughts. So I'll go first with my
Oh, hold
conclusion.
on, we haven't talked about Jaws yet.
No, I'm talking for the Meg.
Oh, for the Meg. Okay,
So
yeah, let's
I'll
go.
start. I'll start with my conclusion. I'll give it my rating, which was the final percentage
Well,
that I
hang on,
gave
we
it.
don't know which of the two movies is the good one yet.
Well, I'll give my rating for this one. Then I'll give my rating for Jaws later.
All right, go ahead.
But the final percentage that it ended with. So here's my conclusion. It's just like every mediocre giant monster movie in the sense that no one cares about the human characters, even though the writers really want you to. And I would say it's worth watching one time on streaming for free while simultaneously playing games on your phone. It's brash, corny, and riddled with cliches. I wanted to give it 0%, but Bay Shark goes nom, so I gave it a 35%.
Nom nom.
All right, Logan. So hold on. I always ask this question. Well, you go ahead. Go ahead. I'll do mine after you.
Conclusion, or do I need to give a rating as well?
Just conclusion.
Okay.
You can give it a rating if you want.
I don't know if I can give it an honest rating.
First time, guys.
Yeah. I don't know if I can give it an honest rating just because I did, in all fairness, I did skip the beginning, so I don't know if I can actually, like, give it an honest, but I will say from the ending, I thought it was pretty terrible. But maybe there's something in the beginning that redeemed everything, who knows. But yeah, and I would say conclusion would be it's probably better than Jaws 4. just throwing that out
Dude,
there.
Jaws 4, it is definitely better than that because Jaws 4 is the most boring movie ever made.
I
thought it would be funny bad, but it's just boring bad.
You know what?
Which is the worst kind of bad.
I tried sitting through it years ago and I couldn't do it. I was like, this is
I still like
horrible.
Michael Caine's quote about it, though.
Well,
What do you say?
He said, Jaws 4, never seen it, but I've seen the house that it bought me.
Is he in that?
yeah, he's in it.
Oh man, I don't even remember. It's 10 years.
So, okay, I'll go. So I always ask this question. This is my rating system. Is it worth a watch or is it not worth a watch? I try to keep it simple, you know? So, Luke, you said it's worth a watch for free.
While playing games on your phone. I was playing poker on my phone while I was watching it.
You do that for every movie, though. Logan, would you say The Meg is worth a watch or not worth a watch?
I'd say it depends who your company is. Like, if you're just putting something on there so you don't have to talk to people, it's better than silence.
Like if some Jehovah's Witnesses show up at your door?
No,
You guys want to come in, watch the Meg?
Suddenly they're peeling out.
I've got candy.
Is that how you get rid of Jehovah's Witnesses?
Put the Meg on.
No, I mean, I would tend to agree with Luke. In all fairness,
Naturally.
I saw the end of the movie, and I was going to go back and watch the beginning when I found out we were doing this, just because I did want to give an honest review.
Yeah, right.
But by the time that I got back on, I think it was Amazon Prime or Hulu or something, they had gotten rid of the free showing, and I would have had to pay like $5. And I was like, "There's no way that movie's worth $5." So
No.
I paid $9.50 for my ticket.
yeah. So
Man, that's so cheap.
if we're putting a dollar figure on it, definitely not worth the watch.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I'm gonna say it's absolutely not worth a watch. I'm excluding if you are just wanting to like just have something on in the background that's making noise to entertain your pug or something. But there's better things to put on to entertain a pug that will stimulate their brain more. It'll make them think. So, yeah, not worth a watch for me at all. In fact, the movie is so forgettable. First of all, I can't complain about the CGI enough. It's so bad. But the movie is so forgettable. I've seen it twice, one time in theaters, and I still can't remember how the shark dies in the end. If it even dies. Maybe it goes on to live a
No, I
happy
can
life.
tell you. I can tell you this because I just saw it.
Okay.
The freaking mini.
Oh,
sub.
wait, I don't care.
He cuts the thing's gut open with the wing of the mini sub,
Yeah,
doesn't
I
he?
remember that, but it doesn't
He did,
kill it.
yeah.
It doesn't
No, it
kill
kills it.
No, that injures it, and then it dies from...
Okay, in that case, I totally just supported your argument. I thought that's how it died. I just saw it.
Okay, so
basically, I was paying attention when the shark was going numb, but then once the shark stopped going numb,
it was like, there's no more numb.
Is Pac-Man his dad? What are you talking about?
Here, we got to wrap this segment up here. So I'm just gonna say, if you want a good shark, if you want a good modern shark movie, skip the Meg, watch The Shallows instead. And the way the shark bites the dust in that one is so much better. Like, it's very satisfying.
Shark dies in that one?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Spoilers.
wow,
Spoilers.
you're a jerk.
Okay.
Sharks
so
never die at the end of shark movies.
Let's move on to what is clearly the movie we actually want to talk about, which is
Finding Nemo.
Steven Spielberg's The Jaws.
It's just Jaws.
It's just Jaws.
That's sure. Go ahead.
Have you ever seen Jaws, David?
Luke, you're the one with the notes. What do you have?
I don't have a synopsis. One of you guys has to.
Well, no, but oh, you don't have it. Okay, I see.
No, I don't.
You don't have a synopsis.
No, I just have comments. I have way less for Jaws than I do.
Well, Logan, then you go with your synopsis for Jaws.
All right.
How would you best describe this?
Well, I will say this movie has a special place in my heart. So, if any of you say anything negative
So
about
much
it,
that he named his
will
kid
attack
after
you.
He named his child after.
I didn't name my child after it. It was just happy coincidence.
Liar.
I wasn't gonna
Liar.
change his
That's
name when I
right.
found out that it was.
Quint's gonna grow up and he's gonna watch this movie and he's gonna stay away from the ocean for the rest of his life.
Well, probably he's the only one that gets it. I mean,
All right, go ahead.
all right. So, Jaws is a true adventure story about three men that find themselves in a true fight-or-flight scenario. The three men's characters and qualifications are super unique yet opposite, which leads to some very relatable moments and also provides very unique chemistry between them. In summary, this movie is classic, and I would struggle to find something to complain about, really, which is why it's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Thought it was your all-time favorite movie.
It probably is, to be honest. I mean, there have been some really good movies out there, but if you factor in the time period that this was made, it's got to be up there. I mean,
So I'll go ahead with my premise because Logan, you said a lot of good things, but you missed a lot of the important notes. So here's my premise. I will go. Three estranged childhood best friends go on an adventure to rekindle their forgotten friendship and catch marlin, stingray, and any other game fish that can bite through a piano wire, only to be incessantly pursued by a great white shark that will stop at nothing to tell them about the Church of Latter-day Saints, or die trying.
Almost none of that was true.
I mean,
you sure?
you had an opportunity there because Quint does say we just caught a couple of stripers, but you didn't even mention stripers.
Okay, freaking, it wasn't just Leah that fell asleep in the movie, it was me. I figured I'd get pretty close.
All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Or actually, I'm gonna start with the cons, and then I'm gonna do pros. I'm gonna reverse it. Cons for Jaws. They misspelled the word coroner on the police report.
I was gonna say, watch your steps. I'm gonna talk about the cons first. That better not be cons plural.
Yeah, so they misspelled coroner.
Well, some of the extras might have been ex-cons.
Could be.
Could be.
No, I mean, pros wise, phenomenal opening scene. It's great. They intentionally don't show the shark. The actress actually broke her leg during that scene, and they kept it in.
I heard that.
I did not know that, but they don't intentionally not show the shark. The thing didn't work.
But they
you're talking
did,
the beginning.
But they did intentionally break her leg.
Yeah, they did.
Spielberg was like, "You're not screaming hard enough. I'll make you scream."
These friggin' cheap extras. Back to port with you.
You said port, right?
I did say port.
Back to port with you.
Probably the greatest jump scare of all time, by the way. Throwing that in there.
I heard Steven jumped.
Steven jumped like
little baby
5 feet in
rabbit.
the air. Yep.
Yep.
So
What part are you talking about?
the head scene.
The head scene.
Yeah, where the head floats down.
Oh, in the boat. I thought you were still
Pulls
talking
the-
about the opening scene.
No,
Pulls the
that's
shark
not
tooth
the
out of
jump
the
scare.
hole.
No, I'm
boat.
with
No,
I'm
that,
with
that
you.
jump scare is good.
The listeners are probably confused too because I was confused.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that this film has that a lot of modern day films miss out on is like you actually feel like you're watching real people. And part of
That's
that
the truth.
part of that is the dialogue. Like there's a scene that I have never picked up on before, but it's right before the orca descends. And Brody's talking to his wife, and he just like randomly is talking about like, don't use the fireplace because I haven't gotten a chance to fix the flute. They don't throw in like little throwaway lines like that in films anymore.
Real quick, that's something I've noticed with movies too, and especially modern day scripts and acting. You see, you watch a movie like Jaws, You feel like you're watching real characters. Same thing with Jurassic Park. These feel like real people. Actors nowadays is like, I don't know. Modern acting is just kind of a joke compared to what it used to be. Like, they kind of all overact now, and I feel like we've all, as modern audience members, have just gotten used to a certain amount of overacting. But when you compare it to like an older movie like Jaws or Jurassic Park or something, you're just kind of like, wow, so this is what acting used to be. Like convincing, like real characters on a real screen. What used to be called a film.
These are all, I mean, those are both really good points because, yeah, you definitely like, I don't know what the best way to put this into words is, but like you're talking, like, let's say it's a monster movie or whatever. All they talk about, 100% of the dialogue is about the monster and the plot and everything. And it's like, if you were actually in a scenario like that, like, yeah, it would dominate most conversations, but you would talk about other things as well because... You know, you're all together for like hours or whatever.
Yeah. It's funny that we're talking about this now because I literally just thought about this yesterday. I can't remember what I was watching. I think what was I watching? I don't remember. But anyway, it was just like one of those things where I was just like, if this was a scenario in real life, it was a Quentin Tarantino movie. But anyway, if this was a scenario in real life, how would
stuff?
I was waiting for you to say it.
But seriously though. You're sitting there and like you imagine yourself in that scenario and you're just like, I would probably be just bringing up random things occasionally, and that makes it more realistic and it makes you more invested in that character to know like, don't use. See, I never picked up on that line before, Luke. Like, I haven't fixed the flu yet.
Yeah, it gives you a level of humanity. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That you don't get in films now.
Or personality, I guess. I don't know.
The only films that I think do something remotely close to it is there's always war films where it's always, I got so and so at home, but now that's become such a cliche in war films that no longer feels real anymore.
That's why Dunkirk was so good.
Yeah, Dunkirk was
good. I really enjoyed Dunkirk.
1917 didn't do that either.
1917 kind of did it. A little bit.
At like the end, he finds out, or like at the end they reveal that the character is.
Well, there's a lot of like traditional wartime dialogue happening in that movie throughout. Yeah. Dunkirk is just like, no, this is what would happen. Okay, we're not talking about Dunkirk. We're talking about Jaws.
I was going to say, if we're talking about war during Jaws, you got to talk about the Indianapolis. Beyond that, we shouldn't be talking about war.
The scene in the movie is when he talks about the Indianapolis, and I can't remember if they said that was improvised or who. I don't think they actually know who wrote that dialogue.
It was written because I was looking into because I was actually looking at. So Jaws is based off of a novel by Peter Benchley, and I was actually wondering. I was like, I wonder how Peter Benchley feels about the screenplay version, and then I found out that Peter Benchley actually wrote the screenplay like a year after he wrote the novel.
I don't know. I feel like I was watching the making.
He didn't write the monologue. Someone else wrote the monologue.
I don't think they know who wrote the monologue.
I think it was one of his buddies or something. One of his writer friends, I think, wrote it.
Well, don't listen to me. Then I'm stupid. But yeah, that's the best scene in the movie.
Was it written or was it like actually taken from like Survivor like counts or whatever?
I think it was written, but
it had to be written. It had to be because
what it says.
When it gets dramatic, obviously that part's written. But I'm saying it had to have been based off like
it's based off the Indianapolis.
Well, it is, yeah.
Right, but you think they consulted any survivors from that or anything?
I don't know. They probably it's such a famous event, everybody would have known.
What it says on Wikipedia is it says that. It was Peter Benchley and another screenwriter wrote the script together, but then a third party, I'm guessing it was one of their buddies, contributed really heavily to Quint's monologue, is what it says on Wikipedia.
Interesting.
Yeah. Best scene in the movie. But
it was a good scene.
You know, if we're going to talk about any cons in Jaws, the shark does look fake. Just saying.
Yeah, it does.
And that's why I docked it. You gotta.
I do give it a little bit of leniency, but. And I do hate when people say that because the point of Jaws is it's not a movie about a killer shark. It's a movie about overcoming a scenario and working together with people that you do not get along with.
I was going to say, you'll notice when I did my intro, I did not mention the shark at all.
Well, I didn't pay attention to any of your intro.
Well, that's fair.
That's why I didn't notice.
But no, I literally talked about their personalities and the characters and the scenario that they're in.
Yeah.
It's literally fight or flight. And some of them, like Brody's, like, let's just get the heck out of here and go and come back when we're more prepared.
And he's forced to become a person that,
deals
faces
with
it head on.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas Quint is the kind of guy that faces it head on, but he goes too hard and freaking...
Yeah, exactly.
And then he suddenly realizes he's in a situation, he's in over his head for the first time in his life, in a situation that he's never dealt with before, and so it kind of makes him crazy. And then he puts everybody's lives at risk.
Right.
And Hooper is just a coward who hid in a cage.
Technically, he hid at the bottom of the ocean. The cage was destroyed.
Now, just today, someone was like, I don't like or it was yesterday, someone was like, I don't like Jaws, the shark looks fake. And I was like, yeah, but the storytelling is timeless.
Yeah, did you slap them? Did you slap the stupid out of their
Are
head?
you talking about Andy?
No, I'm actually talking about Alex.
What? Okay, all right. Hold on.
You guys know people are going to listen to this.
Skip off.
There is a new IQ test out there, and it's called the Jaws test, all right? You sit them down, you make them watch Jaws, and if they say anything negative about that movie at the end of it, they automatically get their driving privileges revoked.
And their voting privileges.
And they're voting, yes.
Yeah.
Because that is a perfect movie. I don't care who you are or what you complain about. That movie is perfect.
It's pretty good. I mean, you do have to be fair with the analysis.
Yeah,
And it's
I
like I was listening to The Critical Drinker recently. Shout out to him, and he said a line that was hilarious. But he said, "Yeah, saying that the rubber shark in Jaws looks fake is like saying that water is wet or The Last Jedi sucks."
Oh, wait. Let's shift gears. Let's talk about that.
Honestly, the underwater scene of Jaws, like in the cage, the shark, like it doesn't look like a real great white, but it still looks freaking scary as frick.
I was actually
That's true.
I was gonna bring that up. Yes, when the shark is on the surface. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was the 70s. It does look fake.
Yeah.
But the underwater scenes it actually looks
pretty
freaking good for the time period.
Maybe because it's a robotic shark, it actually looks scarier. Because what's that fear?
Submechanophobia.
You would know. Anyway. I'm going to have Caleb slow your voice down when you say that. Anyway, yeah, submechanophobia. Like, because you watch Jaws, and it's freaking freaky. Like, the shark really does look lifeless.
Sure.
And that's kind of terrifying. And then you watch a video of a real great white in real life, and it's less scary. It's still scary, but it's less scary.
It's a different feel, and I think that's why I don't complain about the shark's looks that much, because it's like, use your imagination
This
a little bit.
expired Mountain Dew is backing up on me. I keep burping.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I will say, if you're like, perfect example of this is, and I don't know if that's what that is or not, because this is claymation, the example I'm going to use, but The Thing, the prequel, and the 80s.
Yeah,
the 80s is better, dude. It looks...
Is it claymation?
Yeah, it's claymation, I'm
I
pretty
guess
sure.
some of it is.
It looks
Not all of it.
freakier, dude. It moves more
That's true.
inhuman.
So they were actually,
It's-
I have the DVD right here. They were actually going to use those same effects. I think they shot a few scenes for the
they
same
should've.
effects in the 2011 version. And then I think the studio made them switch to CGI. Which is an awful
that's a
decision
terrible
because the
decision.
CGI is not good in that movie.
It's not even so much that it's not good. It's just that it's not as freaky.
Yeah.
The way it moves, it's too like smooth or whatever.
The
I don't know.
mechanical shark is scarier than a real shark. So I do appreciate that about it.
Actually, I was also talking to somebody today about the mechanical sharks. I was talking about Jaws with somebody today, and I was like, if I fell in the water with a real shark, in real life, I know that if the water's clear, you have like a 99% chance of not getting
Booping
eaten.
the shark on the nose.
Of not getting eaten.
Get
If
flipped,
fall in,
idiot.
if you fall in the water with a robotic shark and it's only designed to open and close its mouth, something bad might actually happen.
See,
Like Matt's on the boat, just like poking you with a stick further and further to the mechanical shark.
so here's what we've learned. All right, even Jaws cons are pros.
That is totally fair. That is totally fair.
All right.
Well, what do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Oh, that's all you have.
I've heard
now?
you guys would carry the Jaws portions.
Well, yeah, we will.
Oh wait,
but
was
I just
that
thought
still
I would-
you giving your?
Yeah, that was
Because I
the
was
end
just-
of Luke's.
Hang on. The last thing
I
that
was
I said
just
from my
chiming in
notes
there,
was
man.
I was talking about how realistic the dialogue is. Everything that followed was you two.
All right, that's fair.
No, I know. That's why I was like, I'm surprised we were still on you. I was just
No.
going around the table. With this
I mean, I think we pretty much did, but if you guys have other
Well,
points...
there
bring
is
them
a
up.
reason that the shark movie market is still dominated to this day by this movie.
But no one has been able to replicate the formula that Jaws created.
True, The Shallows
Yeah.
came pretty close, though. I would argue that The Shallows is a really good
Here-
movie. It's not a great movie, but it is a really good movie.
Here's where I'll disagree with you on that, though. The Shallows is just the one person,
Yeah.
and that will always be
But that's the whole scenario, though. Like, that's
right
with that movie.
No,
That's the story it's trying to tell.
I get that. But what I'm saying is, like, what makes Jaws so dynamic is just the fact that you have, like, a crew of people that would not normally all be together.
Sure, yeah.
And that definitely plays on it.
And they don't make really stupid decisions. Like, they make...
Oh, it's
and
the
that's
most
another thing with
logical
The Shallows,
show, yeah.
too. The Shallows, she
Yep.
makes really smart decisions. And I think that's why it works. Both movies work because of that.
Something that I did appreciate going back. I did go back and watch a good portion of Jaws before this as well. And one thing that I actually appreciate is when Quint comes out with that machete to cut the ropes, because literally the shark is pulling the boat down.
Yeah.
I really like that he does not get to cut those ropes, and they instead get a third barrel attached.
Yeah,
and he still keeps going down.
Because, and I didn't notice this, and this, I don't know if this was intentional by Steven Spielberg or not, but him not cutting those ropes is like saying he is out of control of the situation. He doesn't have control over this.
It does
The shark
give a good
is the
shot.
one controlling the
Yep.
situation.
It does give a good shot of his expression there, and it's
Really?
the perfect expression for it.
Okay.
Because, yeah,
Maybe it
I
was
get that feel
intentional.
too. I totally get that feel. And then sticking the thing in the side of the boat and the camera panning to it, that's just good foreshadowing too, you know?
I love how this movie starts off and half the movie is like its own movie, and then the second half of the movie is a different movie. Like, it just switches gears. Now
Yeah.
you go from I don't know what you would classify the first part of the movie, like more of like a horror, like mysterious monster movie,
Right.
and then it goes into a survival movie.
Right.
You know, for
Yeah.
the last half. Like, I remember when I saw this in theaters last year. I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, and I was watching it, and I'm like, man, I forgot how good this movie is. And then it gets to the part where they hire Quint, and I was like, oh frick, I forgot. We still have this entire like boat sequence to like go through in this movie.
I will say that Jaws does have probably one of my... It's got to be a top 3 foreshadowing shot in any film ever. When they are descending in the Orca, they're leaving Quint's boathouse, and the camera pans to a shot of the window, and there's shark jaws in the window, and you see the Orca going through it.
What?
Yeah, you've never seen that?
I've never noticed that.
That might be my favorite foreshadowing.
I
blows
literally
my
literally
mind.
have it on my laptop right now. I can show it to you. But yeah.
It's great foreshadowing. Though.
crazy.
No, it's really good.
Here's a thought. When we'll just close it out with this thought. But when John Williams is long dead,
I was hoping
people
it
will
actually-
still, when they're at the beach or in a lake or whatever, people will still put their hands in the wire or look to their friend and go bum 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 bum. Like, that's crazy to me. That's a crazy thought to me.
Made people deathly afraid of the ocean for a good time.
All right. So I gave it a 99%. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, Logan.
So the only reason I wouldn't give it 100% is because the obviously scuba tanks don't explode when you shoot them, and Spielberg even did test that.
Hey, he said if I've had him for this long, I'll have him for the last 5 minutes or whatever.
By the way, that was the 1% deduction.
Okay, well, so in that
guys
case,
are cowards.
I agree with you 100% because I was going to say 99%. But what I do like is that Spielberg's like, all right, I couldn't get him to explode, but screw it, I'm throwing him in there anyway. Because whatever.
But to be fair, if anything, I shorted Jaws because, like I said, my movie started at 50%, and it was at 70 before they even left Quint's boathouse. So
Yeah.
actually, it was like 75. So
Well, I'm gonna obviously ask Luke, worth a watch?
nah.
Okay, good. Logan, it's worth a watch.
It's
Just say
definitely
it's worth a watch.
definitely worth a watch. But to put it a little bit more, when I remember my first memory of Jaws. I was a little kid at my grandma's, and it was on TV.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was. I just saw the final scene when Brody is sitting on the edge or on the crow's nest of the sinking ship, about to touch the water with an M1 Grand, and literally shoots it, blows the shark up. I didn't know what movie it was,
Yeah.
but I just remember thinking as a kid, that is freaking awesome. So definitely worth the watch.
And I just
Like,
proved I can sleep with my eyes open.
definitely worth the watch.
It's obviously worth a watch for me. So, and if you haven't seen it, then something's wrong with you. You're an uncultured swine.
I'd rather watch The Meg.
Or worse,
Yeah.
if you've seen it and
All
you
right.
didn't like it.
So now, Logan, we'll close out. We always close out with our guest telling the viewers to like and subscribe and all that stuff. So go ahead.